All right, let's get on with it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Dave! 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 Ah. Now that's just hurtful.
That's the fact, Jack!
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Rivero from SteelSanctuary.com. We got a full crew tonight: David Cora, Bob Quinn, Trent Ging. Guys, how's it going?
Wonderful.
Good.
It's kind of thin on Steelers news, but something came up this week. I guess the governor of Pennsylvania said no public funded money for any sports teams. The Eagles and Steelers were mentioned in particular. That's going to make it real difficult for the Steelers to build a new stadium. I heard I think it was last year that the Steelers were going to start looking into building a new stadium. Acrisure has kind of run its course. I think that all plans have changed. Even in the article, they said Rooney's looking to extend the lease on Acrisure now. So get comfortable, boys. We're not moving out of Acrisure anytime soon.
Well, one thing I would say on this is there is a way for the Steelers to radically upgrade and improve the facility. You have to kick out Pitt. If you kick out Pitt, all of a sudden you can redo. There's a bunch of different locker rooms in the stadium. You could make some real adjustments there. But if it's going to be, hey, we're not going to give you them. Look, the stadium's only 25 years old. I mean, yeah, for a stadium, it is kind of a little bit older, but there's some renovations I think you could do. But you got to kick out Pitt. I mean, number one, hey, you don't want to spend any money on our stadiums? No fucking problem. Get your public university out of our building.
It's not up to them, though, right? It's up to because it's a lease, so it's not up to the Steelers to kick them out, is it? I mean, they might not have a choice.
Pittsburgh could. I mean, the Steelers could just say at the end, "Hey, the lease is up. You had it for the public stadium. Hey, that's long since paid for. Bye bye. Get them out, or you're paying us rent."
Yeah, I guess they could do that. I didn't think of the Pitt angle to this either.
As a WU fan, that would break my heart if they kicked Pitt out of there. So, yeah.
I mean,
all for it.
A stadium like Pitt, though? Go ahead, Trent.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised in this day and age that Pitt does not want their own facilities. Like, don't you think they should want their own thing, like something to call home? Like,
yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about like a, Division II team here. Like, this is a freaking major university. Like, you should want something to call your own.
You think?
I was going to go at it the exact opposite way. Are they a big enough program to be playing in a pro stadium? They should have their own little rinky-dink stadium that they play in. I mean, it's kind of stupid that they share the facilities.
Well, and you look some of the big programs. I'm down here in Florida. This is college football country. Georgia, Athens has their own stadium. Florida Gators, the Swamp is a wonderful. I hate the Gators, but it's a great place to watch a game. Florida State, Tallahassee, Doak Campbell Stadium, Alabama. I mean, everybody down south has a great football facility. Penn State's got a great football facility. The Big House in Michigan, the Horseshoe. I mean, why wouldn't? And if Pitt really wants to compete, you don't want to be in Acrisure Stadium splitting with the Steelers.
With all them empty seats?
Yeah. Which is usually the case, right? Which, I don't know.
Maybe that's why they don't want the new stadium, though. I mean, could that be why they don't want a new stadium? Because NFL stadiums are much smaller than college stadiums. I mean,
that's true.
Especially the older ones. I mean, Ohio State, Michigan, you're pulling 100,000 people. NFL, you're not pulling anything close to that.
And Adam's got a point here. In Oakland, that'd be a nightmare. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
How big's the campus?
I have no idea.
I don't think it's that huge.
Because I can tell you, my brother went to UCF around the time Dante Culpepper was there, and they played at the Citrus Bowl. And that, if you're familiar with Orlando, that's about a 40-minute drive from the campus. and the Citrus Bowl is cavernous. It was old. I mean, you're sitting on concrete. Don't get me wrong. You got drunk at the tailgate. You really didn't give a fuck. But at the same time, when they went to the smaller on-campus stadium, the program has really taken off because it's easier to fill. It doesn't look half full. You could put a 30, 40,000 seat stadium. Mississippi does it. The Egg Bowl is an awesome environment if you've ever been. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You can do it. You can do it right with a 30, 35,000 seat stadium.
I also think there's benefits for Pitt in sharing with the Steelers as far as recruiting goes, as far as maybe saving money goes. Like I don't know how it works, but I'm wondering like maybe it saves them money because they don't got to pay for cleanup and all the different things to take care of it, maybe. And that's saving them money as opposed to first spending the money to build their own. And then two, paying to get it taken care of and be kept up with, every year. I wonder if that's it. It saves them money. It helps them recruit. Hey, come join Pitt. You'll get to be in the same stadium as the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's got to be a way that a thing they use for recruiting. Has to be.
I think the number one issue with this is Art Rooney's never going to spend his own money on a football stadium. It's not going to happen. The guy has the same 2 nickels he first earned 30 years ago, and he hasn't spent that. There's no way he's footing the bill. So they're stuck.
So
they're stuck at Acrisure.
Adam says they do help with renovations, right? But they're splitting it as opposed to having your own and paying the whole thing yourself. So I still think there's benefit. That's one of the benefits is saving money.
Oh, 100%.
And then recruiting.
And when you start comparing it to places like Clemson, Death Valley, and I got half of Acrisure Stadium, you're not competing in the ACC as far as facilities go, because you have half of Acrisure Stadium. And remember, It ain't like the professionals think Acrisure is very nice.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
Bring that up too.
It's like some of those college programs are probably better than the Steelers facilities. Probably, definitely. So, yeah, who knows?
We've already seen it. They've shown pictures of different locker rooms looking.
Yeah.
But if you take away the Pitt practice fields and all of a sudden you build that dome facility, you take away the Pitt and college visitor locker rooms, and now all of a sudden you build a huge home locker room for the Steelers and a huge visitors locker room. It wouldn't be that hard or cost that much money. You just have to make the decision that, hey, Pitt, you got to go. And Kaboli makes this point a lot. He's like, if you think anything's going to change at that stadium until Pitt leaves that stadium, you're kind of dreaming because they can't expand. They can't do anything. They're just stuck with what they got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the taxpayer should have to pay for it. You shouldn't have to pay for billionaires, toys. Let them figure it out. If Rooney really wanted to, he could figure it out.
And let's be honest, they're getting tax write-offs on this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Like they're building these stadiums and they're doing tax write-offs. Like, what's the percentage of revenue they're earning for the city? And I'm sure it's a lot, but is it?
And that's the argument.
500? Is it 500 million?
Then that's the argument. What are they
put back into it?
What are they bringing in for the businesses, the surrounding area? And that's the math that has to be done.
The NFL gives loans to owners to build their own stadiums. They have, the seat licensing where you can raise a shit ton of money beforehand. There's ways around it. Don't just sit there with the handout, wait for the state of Pennsylvania to bail you out. Fucking build your own stadium.
It's not even with them letting it with their handout. It's just simply smart business. Oakland decided, fuck you, we're not going to build anything. I'm sorry, is there an Oakland Raiders anymore? No. Cleveland at one time said, nope, we're not doing anything. And they went to Baltimore. So teams have leverage. It'd be hard to envision the Steelers going that route. But one thing about the Rooneys, and this is kind of what happened with the Maras in New York, is yes, that team is worth billions of dollars. But the Rooneys don't have that money. They would have to sell the team to get that money. Now, sure, could they mortgage it and maybe raise the money? Yeah, they could. But you think a lawyer is going to mortgage his investment and take the risk? No.
There's no risk. There's no risk.
Well,
really
it
for them.
kind of is. It kind of is. You don't know how just because the NFL is a big business, very easily, alienate some folks. And look at the NBA. 20 years ago, it was the NBA will never crash. They just did their lowest ratings in 20 years. You think their next TV deal is going to be big? I don't.
Well, I think the Steelers now are just going to do upgrades at Acrisure and call it a day. It'll save more money.
It's exactly what they're going to do. And it's too
That's
bad
fine.
because, 10 years from now, it's going to be outdated. And they're still going to be playing in that building, which it's borderline outdated now. And so it's unfortunate in the long run.
I can't remember. How old was Three Rivers Stadium before they tore it down?
35.
30.
Yeah, so they're
There's 30
close.
plus.
So Acrisure is
Yeah.
25, right? Yeah. And it takes you, 3-4 years to build a stadium. So if you wanted to get out before 30, you'd have to start having a solid plan by
True.
now and then get, shovels in dirt by next season. And then that doesn't
Yeah, I don't see that
anywhere
happening.
close to happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah.
And if you are going to, let's say, mortgage it, and it's public-private partnership. That's how a lot of the stadiums are getting built right now. It's like a 60-40 type of deal. It's not 100% like it used to be. So they're going to have to put skin in the game to get a stadium built anywhere. But that being said, if they come out and do like a 60-40 split, that's going to be a Daniel Rooney decision, not an Art Rooney II decision.
Yeah, it's Rooney doesn't make tough decisions about anything, so that doesn't surprise me in the least. He's just riding it out. He's got his game in Ireland though. He's good.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on that before we move on? Any final thoughts on it? All right.
I just don't think the Amish will come out and vote for the stadium. Now, that being said, if they can have their horse and buggy races there, then the Amish will come out and vote for it.
How did you connect the Amish to this spot?
Okay, the Amish were the reason why the last election went the other way.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
However, this
Warren
was very conservative of Shapiro to do
Yes.
as far as
Very.
saving money.
Is he a Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
He's a
So-
Democrat,
Yeah. So doing this conservative thing, hey, it might sway the Amish right back over.
huh?
Well, he's got to promise the horse and buggy races, though.
Yep.
Good for him. Good for him for standing up. We'll see if it lasts. If the Steelers put his feet to the fire, I think he would change his mind. Like if
We'll
they
see.
threaten to move, he might change his mind, but we'll see.
Especially if the Eagles and the Steelers do.
Yeah, if they both do,
Oh
right.
my God. Yeah.
If we
Now
ever
that-
get to that point.
Could you
That owner
imagine?
has enough money to build his own stadium.
Could you
Mhm.
imagine politically you're responsible for losing the Eagles and Steelers? Like a political career over.
Yeah, forget about
Like,
your political career. It's over.
You better move to like Oregon or something if you want to keep your political career going. Whew.
Go someplace where the Philly fans can't find you because they'll hunt
Right.
you down. And,
Oh.
Hey, they won a division in Europe. Don't tell me the Roonies wouldn't sign up to be the Irish team.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Art would. You'd have to go by yourself, but oh shit. Warren Sharp had an interesting little nugget on X the other day. The Steelers gave up the most first quarter points of any team in the league. It wasn't really close. They gave up 112. The next closest team was Dallas at 99, and then Carolina, I think, was 98. So this kind of surprised me a little bit, but it shouldn't because it's Mike Tomlin's defense and his preparedness is legendary. A lack of preparedness.
Right, but weren't they number one also in not scoring points themselves?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I just
something like
when I
that,
heard
right?
that, I was like, wait, weren't they number one on the opposite side of that too, which is bad? Jesus
I want
Christ.
to say no first drive touchdowns.
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah.
23, maybe.
Maybe both. Maybe it was all that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It goes back to I think the first game with Faulkner as the right after the Matt Canada thing.
Yeah, just definitely a recipe for putting yourself in a hole pretty quick.
Yeah,
Certainly worth the highest paid defense in the NFL.
Absolutely.
right.
Yep. Absolutely.
They start slow, but they finish weak.
They start
think I
slow,
read somewhere
but they
it's-
don't make adjustments.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it was Kozora. They haven't had a first drive touchdown in like 30 years. Like they haven't scored a touchdown in the first. Oh, something was it? Am I
That
misreading
can't
that?
be
Am I getting that wrong?
In the opener. In the opener.
Oh, okay, in the opener. All right,
In
in
the
the
opener,
opening game.
okay.
All right, okay. Yeah, that
I was
makes
gonna
more
say.
sense. That makes more sense. But still, every 2 weeks somebody comes up with a stat of ineptitude for the Steelers. It's the most points in the first quarter of any team in the NFL with that roster of players. How does that happen? T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward.
Conservative.
Can't-
All they do is play conservative. Like
And they-
every,
And the plan is always wrong.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
Always
Their
wrong.
game plan is
that
always
tells you Tomlin cannot draw up 10 plays on offense or defense.
no.
Those 10 plays result in just no points, a 3 and out, and then they go around and score in 3 plays.
You're literally sitting there and you're going, you had a week to come up with this plan. This is the plan?
Well, in fairness, and I'm looking this up right now, I want to say 3/4 of those points were the Eagles, the Chiefs, and whoever the hell else blew
Right.
them out at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, you got to play these teams. I'm sure other teams played Eagles and Chiefs and didn't give up that many first quarter points. It's ridiculous. It's
Dude, in that Ravens game, it felt like the plan was TJ, no matter what, just tackle Jackson. I don't care if he even has the ball. Just tackle him, and that's it. And that's what
well,
it
they've
looks
done
like.
that before, but the Ravens didn't have a running back like this to blow them up. They've tried that before, and it's worked to some success. But you eventually you got to change because you know they have the freaking one of the best running backs in the league now. You can't do that anymore.
Technically, you could argue this was the first game where the Ravens, Lamar Jackson was this successful against the Steelers defense. Honestly, usually the Steelers defense has had his number.
Yeah.
So
Well, you
you
didn't
could
have to do
argue
much.
This was the first time where the Ravens were like, nah, we got to figure it out now. Like, and the Steelers didn't adjust.
Of
They
course.
just kept running it back the whole game. And
Man,
Well,
that playoff game.
It was so interesting because the first game they played, they didn't do this against the Ravens. And they put the ball in Lamar's hands, and his wide receivers dropped it every time.
Yep.
And, I mean, Lamar did not play bad in either game, to be fair. But his stats looked much worse in the first one because the wide receivers sucked so bad.
that's
So,
the
like,
point.
why did we turn around and say we're going to completely change what we did in that first game and then just let them run the ball down our throat repeatedly? That made no sense to me at all. They should have just stuck with the original game plan.
And then instead of changing game plans, you panic and put your whole fucking draft into stopping the run. Well, great, but if you're still gonna play nickel, I don't care how many defensive draft picks you use, you're still gonna get your asses blown off the field by the Ravens. So until they fix the coaching, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
now you said it was 112 in the first quarter, right?
Yes,
Okay,
Bob's doing
so
math.
half of those points were scored between week 13 and week 18.
So the second half of the season was
So really the last 6 games?
yeah,
So
the last
first
third of the
11
season.
First 11, they're giving up at 51 points in the first quarter. You know, less than a touchdown in the first quarter. So that's not bad. That's pretty good. And then, it went off the rails the last 6. I mean,
Yeah, as soon as the competition got better. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, they didn't give up a lot of points to the Falcons and the Browns. I guess Cincinnati must have been in there earlier this season at one point, right?
it started with the Cincinnati game. Cincinnati, as a matter of fact, hold on. Let's back it up one to the Browns because there was a Browns game in there. Okay, there was none in the Browns game. So, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals again. And
Yeah.
Bengals the second time only scored 19 points.
How many in the first quarter? You
I
guys
would
make a
say-
shirt that says "Fix the coach." How about if you, Bob? You're on that, right?
Hey, no problem. Coming
Fix the
soon.
coach.
Brilliant.
They actually
Imagine.
gave up 10, that 19-point game. They gave up 10 in the first quarter and only 9 the rest of the game.
Yeah, more than half was in the first quarter because they fucking weren't ready. Again, weren't ready to play. Nothing sums that up more than the Kansas City game. They were not ready to play at all. They looked like they had never seen the Chiefs play before, ever.
Yeah.
They looked completely clueless in that game.
I paid $1,000 to go watch that game on Christmas. My son and I just got to watch that live. It was
Merry Christmas, David.
quite the thing to watch. That was.
I can't even imagine being there live watching that
All right,
catastrophe.
That was like a kick to the nuts. It really was. Just $1,000 to go watch that was just Jesus.
Did you sneak in a flask so you and your son could at least 2 shots?
I wish I could have drank that day. Good Lord. That was.
Do you guys remember the Hard Knocks thing where Tomlin said, "It's my job to give you the answers to the test"? What fucking test is he talking about? Because it wasn't the NFL game day test. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's giving out the answers to the SAT while everybody's taking the ACT.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
Giving the 3rd grade spelling bee answers out. That's what it is. I just at a loss. You said that stat in prep, and I was like, you know.
He's the master motivator, but they're never ready to play from the jump.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I'm
Like-
so sick of hearing that he's a master motivator. I mean, if this don't prove it to you, what the fuck else is going to prove it to you?
Let's be honest, they didn't start fast when Ben was there either. Even the Killer Bees teams,
Yeah,
They started
did
slow,
start
too.
early.
it's been this way forever. It comes
Yeah.
back to one guy. There's one common theme.
Yeah, I saw something on X. You know, who was stopping this offensive? Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. Did you not realize they didn't win a fucking playoff game? You know, at the end. I mean, I think they did win one, but I don't think all 3 of them were on the field for a playoff.
No.
win.
That group beat the Chiefs in what was that?
Chiefs and Dolphins in the same year. Then they lost
Yeah.
the championship game. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
it.
forget what year it was, but
I want to
they
say
ended
it
up losing
was
to the Patriots.
It was
15,
15.
16.
Yeah.
So that's the last time they won one.
And bear in mind, the game they beat the Chiefs, it was 18-16, 6 field goals from Boz.
For Boss,
Sound
yep.
familiar?
And it
And
wasn't Mahomes at quarterback. It was
Alex Smith.
Alex
Alex
Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not getting any points for that.
Yeah, Lev Bell broke the postseason rushing record.
Wait, that was Mahomes' rookie year, correct? Didn't he sit his
No.
rookie year?
No, it was after that, I think.
Oh no, he was 17 draft. Never mind. You're right. Yeah, he was 17 draft. Never mind.
You could make the case that game, more than anything else, convinced Andy Reid he had to do something different.
Well, I was about to argue, what if they did go to Mahomes that season? But no, it was the next year he was drafted.
Yeah. And the Dolphins quarterback that year wasn't very good too. Was a backup, I think. The one Bud Dupree almost
Matt
killed,
Moore.
right?
Yeah, he took his
Matt
time.
Moore.
Matt Moore, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly a glorious win either.
4 years out of 18, the Steelers have won a playoff game, and the list of quarterbacks we've beaten, it's astoundingly bad.
Who were the other two? It was Moore and Chiefs. I can't remember the other two. It's been so long since they won a playoff game. I can't even remember who they've beaten. It's been so long.
That's a good point. I don't.
Moore, Alex Smith, AJ McCarron, Mark Sanchez,
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
The Sanchez one was decent. The Jets were pretty good that year.
I was there.
He
for
was
that
pretty
game.
good.
I was.
What,
I
were you?
was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the AFC Championship game.
That
I
was kind of
there.
legit because the Jets were pretty good that year.
No, I was.
Yeah,
It was
Right,
like
and
a
the
real
feet
feel
stuff.
of -6.
they had
I mean,
a
they
really
weren't-
good defense.
Yeah, they were. They weren't world beaters, but they were pretty good. On the Jet scale, they were very good.
On the Jet scale, they were good, but I mean, it's not a who's who. Aaron Rodgers beat him. Tom Brady, I mean, come on
Yeah,
now,
it's
and he
Yeah.
beat
Every
their
time.
ass repeatedly.
No, they beat Peyton Manning one year, right?
No,
On that run.
oh yes, they
Yeah.
did. Yes, they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, they
And-
did on that run
on that run.
when they were the wild card team.
But who was the coach?
It was what's his name?
Bill Cowher.
Bill
we're
Cowher,
talking.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we're
I
talking.
thought you were talking
Mike
about who's the
Tomlin.
Colts coach.
Yeah, we're talking Mike Tomlin. He lost to the Jags. He lost.
They lost the Browns when the coach was suspended. Remember, or he had COVID. He had COVID. The Browns
half
coach had
the
COVID.
half the damn team wasn't there or something. It was like
Yeah,
they
it
didn't
was
have
bad.
tons of people.
They beat. The
That might be his
Chargers.
worst loss.
That
That's his worst loss ever, right?
that was because I
Yeah.
said if they lose this,
They've had some
Tomlin needs
bad
to be
ones.
Fired on the spot. They lost. I was just like,
So
God
they
damn.
basically beat Philip Rivers in his playoff debut. They beat Kurt Warner, the ghost of Kurt Warner, but
Yeah.
let's face it, Kurt Warner almost still won that game. Let's take a look here. Who is they beat Flacco in his rookie year, basically. And then after that, it's Flacco, Sanchez, AJ McCarron, Matt Moore, Alex Smith. And that's it.
That was the last one they beat.
Not a veritable who's who of quarterbacks.
No.
And they've lost to Lamar, Josh Allen, and these games were not close. Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Baker fucking Mayfield, Blake
That's the one that sticks out. That's another one that sticks out.
Wow, guys, like they. Besides the fact Ben's bailed them out in so many things, now that we're bringing this to light, how much of a soft, like, quarterback they've had to face for so many years. Wow.
What's worse, the Bortles loss or the Mayfield loss?
Mayfield, in my opinion. Oh, that's
Mayfield.
a good one. There you go.
Which one?
Tebow.
Which one?
Tebow.
Oh well,
Tebow.
yeah. If you got it, that one was horrendous. That's another
Yeah,
one.
you think?
That was another one. I forgot.
You could really make the case the Tebow loss started this bullshit.
I
Because
still think the Mayfield one, the Browns one was pretty bad.
Another game where they got down big.
Yeah.
Right off the jump.
Yeah. The Tebow one, though, they went cover zero.
Yeah.
Showed zero respect.
That
for
was
Tebow,
LeBeau,
man.
right? That was
Yeah.
LeBeau.
Yeah, it was.
I told you he'd lost his fastball by then. He was already.
he played to beat the run, and he didn't expect.
You don't do cover zero in overtime, man. That's too risky.
Yeah.
That's too risky.
I wouldn't have called it myself, but I understand what he was doing. He's like, I'm not going to let Tebow beat me with his feet. So, yeah, I still would have played a fucking safety over the top of Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah.
That one hurt. I mean, the Browns one was just a long, prolonged, but that one jolt, that was all game. They had trouble stopping Tebow, though. That was. Yeah.
You lose to the Packers, you come back and you play Tebow the next year, and you have that painful loss. And it looked like and Ben was limping around. Remember, his ankle was heavily taped, and it was borderline whether he was going to play.
Yeah.
But then when he did come out and play, he was pretty effective, and he won the game. And then Denver tied it, and then Denver won it in overtime. And that's where you could really tell, okay, we got to redo the defense. This great defense is too old, and they can't compete anymore.
Adam's thing about Blake Bortles, I mean, dude, he was so bad. So bad.
Well, he didn't win it. It was the running back there who I blocked his name out too.
Fournette?
Yeah, Leonard Fournette's the one that killed him in that game.
But, like, just in general, though, he did make the throws when he needed to make them.
He did. He did make a couple of big throws in that game.
Primarily on third downs. It was killing us. On third downs, we couldn't stop him.
They were loading the box to stop the run, and he was just, play action, killing them.
As bad as he was, he shouldn't have been able to make all those
and
throws.
he played okay against the Patriots the next week, too.
But
that was a little bit of a game.
The offense put up 42 points. The defense gave up, 45, if I remember correctly, something like that. And they fired Todd Haley.
Right.
He's like, my offense put up 42 points, and I'm the one that's fired. That's the best part. I love when he brings that up.
In fairness, they got so far down. The fact that they even had a chance, and everybody pins that on Ben. And yes, granted, they got down like 28-7. Yes, but then
He
Ben
also brought us back.
He brought it back.
was lights out. And then in the fourth quarter,
this is the one.
When it was 38-35, or I'm sorry, it was like 35-31, something in there. And all the defense needed was one stop. And they had stopped them since early in the game. We needed one stop, and they let them just march right the fuck down the field, running the ball. Yeah. They went back up 10, and that was it.
What Adam's saying right here, I think, was the final straw with Haley, too, besides the tensions with Ben.
Yeah.
I think this right here was the other
fourth
thing.
and one toss to Bell that they didn't convert. I mean, I don't have a problem giving it to Bell.
Yeah, but they had 10 in the fucking box. Like, no.
Like, well, you would think Ben would audible out of that, but
would he to make a point?
You want to sacrifice a playoff game to make a point? You're a Super Bowl
With
team.
Ben, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it could have been.
Constantly, when he made the play, I called that. When he was yelling around, I wasn't.
Oh yeah, drama Ben. He always.
So, I don't know, man.
I didn't think we'd go down this rabbit hole of bad playoff losses. I don't know if I'm ready for this in the summertime. It's too
Now
depressing.
it's turned into a fucking therapy session.
We need it.
Steelers Anonymous.
Can't believe you made me
What the heck was that?
I'm on his NFL. I'm on the NFL site. I was looking up a player profile, and I don't know what the hell they got playing on this thing.
All right, Trent. All right.
Bringing a little spice to the podcast, I guess. I don't know.
There you go.
Trent's
All right.
in the club. Pocket full of love.
I guess that covers the 112 points in the first quarter. We know the culprit to that one. All right. Our buddy, Seth Walder, I'm sorry, let me get his name right, who was responsible for that ridiculous all-century team. Did a interview with our buddy Ron Lipbach, and he said the Steelers, basically to sum it up, they don't use analytics, which should come as a surprise to no one in this show or anywhere else. I think they're the worst when it comes to analytics. They don't. Mike Tomlin couldn't spell analytics.
Yeah.
I was just thinking
use
that.
it. So, yeah, this is. I thought it was worth mentioning, but I don't think if anybody's surprised, you're not watching this team.
Yeah.
Look, analytics are important. I will say that. And the Steelers should definitely incorporate some analytics into what.
Yeah, I think you can go too far with it.
Yes, like the idiot who made the list, who did the interview, who said the analytics say TJ's not an all quarter century player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could take your analytics, shove it straight up where, turn them sideways, do the rock thing. I mean, come on now. If your analytics betray your eyes, then you're using them wrong. That's my whole problem with PFF and all these other people. Oh, the analytics, the tape don't lie. If you watched the Draft Professor last week, we were talking about the Atlanta Falcons. And they were trying to convince me how Matt Ryan in his final year was still a really good quarterback. I was like, how do you look when he went to Indy the next year with Shane Steichen, who was a really smart coach?
Yeah, really good offensive coach. Yeah.
But he ran him out of town. Yeah, because he sucked. I was like, I don't care what your analytics say anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. If you use it too much, it can be a detractor. But if you don't use it at all, it can also be. And I don't think the Steelers use it at all.
There needs to be utilized, but not be the end all be all with everything.
Didn't they fire their analytics guy last year and didn't replace him? I think I remember reading that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think I remember reading that.
I mean, dude, if you go look up the 49ers coaching staff, the reason why they have so many people is because they've got like an analytics guy. Then they got the assistant to the assistant of the analytics guy. They got like 5 guys dedicated to strategy, analytics, all that stuff.
You could pick up on tendencies with that stuff and what teams run. That could be an advantage. I'm sure the Steelers stick out like a sore thumb when people use analytics on them. This is what they run every time. This is the defense they use every time. They must be like the poster team.
Remember Ben's last year when TJ made the great play at the goal line to knock it down, and they said we knew what they were going to do because they're a slave to the analytics. I think they bought into the idea that they're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we been like in another team's opposing territory and the analytics are like 75%, you go for it in this, and Tomlin's like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and punt this thing. You're like on their 40-yard line, and it's fourth and 2.5 inches, and he's like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and punt this thing. Yep. We're good.
Oh, no, I didn't read that before I put it up. We'll take that one down.
We're not going to live that down for a while.
And Mike Tomlin is the ultimate, run my hunches over any common sense whatsoever. Because, he'll go for it on 4th down in the strangest time, and then when you should go for it, he doesn't. It's
on his own 20, he'll go for it. But on the other team's 40, punt that.
Yeah,
Wasn't it the same game too? It was the same game.
I think it was the same game.
They did that. You're like,
yeah.
what are you
If it
doing?
wasn't, it should have been.
Yeah.
I'm just. I didn't know this was going to be the Mike Tomlin bashing show, but here we are. It's the middle of June. It's hot. We're aggravated.
Deep dive on Mike Tomlin, part 2.
The Bash Mike Tomlin show. Basically,
Just when you thought we were done, folks. We're back at it again.
We're never done here. Never. And this is when people say we're spoiled and we shouldn't. These are the things that drive us crazy. This is actual stuff that he does terribly. And we haven't even brought up like his red, the challenge flag.
We're just gonna
every week.
We're just gonna keep diving in on it.
But I don't know how many times I've sat in front of the TV and thought to myself, this team's not ready to play this team. The Steelers are not ready to play Team X. They have no idea how to stop this. They know, and it's like week in and week out, especially the good teams.
Well, no, I was going to say it's just as bad with the bad teams. How many times do we see them
true.
face bad teams? And you're like, what the fuck is going on? We're down 21-0 in the blink of an eye to the Patriots against, what was it, Cappy or whatever his name is? That guy. And then the Cardinals, whenever they're a losing season, the Colts, you're like, what is going, how are we this bad? Like, it just boggles my mind.
If you look at it, anybody off the Reed tree, anybody off the Shanahan tree, anybody off the McVay tree, who have we beaten on that tree?
Probably nobody, to be honest. I mean,
I know we've beaten the Rams, but it was the Rams without Matthew Stafford.
Right, they're missing players. Yeah.
Isn't the Browns coach off one of those trees? Isn't he off the McVay tree? I thought.
Stefanski?
Stefanski, I think he is.
Is he?
He is. I'm pretty sure.
But that's a division rival who he sees twice a year every year, so he kind of, he can figure it out.
Relic, chime it in.
I mean, what analytics would you be looking at to say that you need to play your corners 8 yards off coverage?
Yeah.
Show me the analytic that says that's a great idea, because Patrick Mahomes threw more 3-yard passes that went for 8 yards than anybody I've ever seen in my life in that Kansas City game. Like,
and they don't even have deep threats on that team. So why are you playing off that? They don't really. Juju Smith-Schuster, and I guess they have one guy, but it's just like, come on, man.
Trent, you should have seen me in the stands. I was like the guy in Home Alone 2 where he's laying down, the brick's about to get thrown down on the guy not looking. I'm going, no, what are you doing? No, don't do that. Oh.
I think I read somewhere where didn't Patrick Mahomes throw the most balls behind the line of scrimmage of any coach, of any quarterback in the league, and you're playing 8 yards off that?
Yeah.
Because you're not watching film. You're not.
Did you not
they're
watch
worried
Russell
about
Wilson play?
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you not watch Russell Wilson play? I mean, if it is, it's only because he didn't play the full 17 game.
Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes threw a lot of behind the line. That was their.
I mean, you had
it worked. I mean,
Juju and DeAndre Hopkins out there that running with 800-year-old knees. Like, neither dude was going to burn anybody.
Yeah.
There is
here we are playing 8 yards off Juju.
Yeah.
There is this guy Xavier Worthy. I mean, maybe
that's the one I
couldn't.
couldn't.
He was it.
Yeah.
We needed quarters coverage to stop one freaking guy.
Yeah.
Maybe just play man and roll a safety over him, and I don't know, maybe try to stop them.
Dude,
and he tore us up underneath too. I mean, he caught a couple crossing routes and he took off. I mean, because
they had a plan for everything the Steelers did. Every time the Steelers changed a coverage or whatever, it was they changed what they were going to do, and it was incredible to watch. It really was, in a bad way. But like, just I couldn't believe. I was just like, dude, they don't have a chance in hell. You
could drive a nail through Andy Reid's head and he'd still be able to outcoach Mike Tomlin. Let's be honest. He knows the Steelers defense. He knows it like the back of his hand. He doesn't even have to think about it.
Edelman said it. They don't change shit. They don't change anything.
But you three put him in your top 10 coaches. I was the only one who had him down in the middle of the league.
I did.
I know.
Because
I thought it said more about the league than anything to me.
I'm so conflicted by Mike Tomlin. I've said it a million times. Because there's streaks where he'll just, will the team to victory, and you got to give him credit for that. But then there's times where he's, they're clueless and they're out coached, and I'm not the only one being negative here, buddy. Have you not paying attention to the rest of these guys? I'm the ray of sunshine here.
And I'm sorry, we just went through the quarterback list. Willing the team to victory? What good quarterback has he willed us to a victory over? Tom Brady in
playoffs,
his
no.
last year.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
But even
it
in
took
the
him now.
regular season, maybe Joe Burrow, maybe Lamar Jackson.
I mean, we can say they beat
Constantly.
their division teams, right? You know,
Yeah.
you beat Lamar Jackson, you beat. So
yeah, he does well in the AFC North. They always
Yeah.
seem to do. You know,
I
Tom
wonder
drives
how
me
much
crazy.
of that is because I know those teams.
that's a good point.
All right, let's do our redraft. Let's get to it.
Okay.
We're going to go in order. Each one of us is going to give our first round pick, and each one of us will do a third round pick. And we're going to redraft this sucker. So this will give you an idea of what it would be like to play Ultra GM, because you're going to get to redraft the 2025 draft in your own. And I was thinking about this. It's interesting because there's things I want the Steelers to do, like trade their first round pick. But then if you're playing Ultra GM, that's not going to help you win the league. You need to, like Evan said last week, you need to draft somebody who's going to get you points this year. So it's kind of conflicting.
Yeah.
Because what I would really do was I'd blow the whole fucking thing up and start from scratch. That's what I would do, for real.
Well, I
For
hope
real.
that's what you do in our league. Go for that.
I might
See
try
how
to
it
do
works
that and win in years 2 and 3 and 4, but we'll see.
And,
You're
and
not
we are
winning 3 years in
assuming
a row.
DK is still traded. So
Yeah.
we got the 1, 3.
Yeah, we
4,
have
5.
DKs on the roster. Yeah.
All right. So with the first pick, or the 21st pick, I should say, what you got, Dave?
I traded it to the Falcons. I got that first round pick for 26.
Oh my god, I knew. I
traded back in the second round. So my second round pick, I'll take my second round pick. I took Jalen Noel, receiver from Iowa State. And I got a first round pick in my back pocket for 26 when I go get Arch Manning to throw to him.
All right, hold on.
When you talk like that, all right. If you guarantee me that, all right.
Or Cade Klubnik or
Yeah.
whoever, you know.
So you traded for
I traded back to the second round and picked up an extra first rounder.
Atlanta didn't have a second rounder.
They got pick 46 for it, didn't they? That's what I read the trade.
Oh yeah. Pick
Which is a
46,
second.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. The trade. Okay. So you take Jalen Noel at pick 46, and he actually went. Where's he at?
And I'm not trading George Pickens. I want Pickens, DK, and Jalen Noel in the
Look
slot.
at you. You're even putting
Let's
that out there.
Fucking go. Let's fucking go. Stop horsing
Jalen
around.
Noel, who went 79th, Dave picked at 46. Okay. All right.
He was high on my board, Bob. High on my board.
Okay, David.
And he was high on your board too, by the
All
way.
right.
He wasn't 46.
All right, you two. Let's not start now. Anyways, I gotta be like mom and like tell her 2 sons to just stop. Anyways, okay, look, I can't get over the fact that they were dead fucking set on getting rid of George Pickens. And they had Matthew Golden gift wrapped it for them in the first round. And don't get me wrong, I think Harmon was a good pick. I really like him. I do. However, dude, there's tons of defensive tackles in this draft that are really good. You have Matthew Golden right there. Take him.
So that's your pick?
That's my pick, Matthew Golden.
There's a good argument for that to be made for that.
My God, you knew you were dead set and you had a guy right there. I still can't believe Green Bay took him when they've got like 7 receivers out there, but whatever.
Because they know talent.
All
That
right.
team's got a lot of talent on it. Go ahead. Who's next? Trent?
Trent is next.
Corb, I agree with you, buddy.
Oh,
I
here we
thought-
go.
I thought that we went with a pretty clear. I mean, after the fact, we know that the team knew they were getting rid of George Pickens. I mean, they were shopping him during the draft.
Yeah.
They clearly had a mission. They were going to trade him. If you knew that going into the draft, you have to draft Matthew Golden at that position. You cannot go back into another year. We have no second wide receiver. You can't tell me the team believed enough in Roman Wilson at that point where there was no workouts happening that they were just fine letting this roster play out. I took Matthew Golden because like he's a guy who I think he translates a little more as a slot receiver, but I think he's talented enough to play on the outside. And then they still draft another receiver the next year.
Yep. Bob, what are you doing? He's still thinking. You're on the clock, Bob. Time's ticking.
I'm sticking with Derek Carmen. As much as I love Marion Hampton, the fact that they are,
I gave him the Leanne face.
The fact that they named this kid the starter, I don't know. I think there's something there. So
They're desperate, dude, because there's nobody else they had to draft on it.
which is why I'm taking him, because
Yeah,
I'm not
I
going to
know. That's a good point.
overreact.
Yeah.
But hey, let's bring Evan in here to kind of watch this redraft. So Evan, we're debating what we would do on Ultra GM with our picks here.
Okay, great.
So
Great.
So far, I'm the only one who actually stuck with the Steelers pick.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, that's the idea. I mean, I think a lot of us are going to have different ideas for those picks than what the team did. So it's the opportunity to do that differently if you want to do it differently. And I'm sure, Bob, for you, in the second or third round, you'll probably have some deviations too, even though you may have gone the same way in the first round.
Well, Dave decided to tank to start the GM game. So
That's not what I did.
I really
not what I
appreciate
did.
his efforts. That just gives all of us, a better chance of winning this season. So thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. However,
I bet
Trent
you-
and I were smart and went and got a wide receiver in the first round.
Okay, so give me the recap of the picks so far.
Bob
I
kept
traded my
Harmon,
first round
Dave
pick.
traded. Yeah.
Okay.
I took the Atlanta deal and got a first round pick in 26
Okay.
when they traded with the Rams.
Trent and I took Matthew Golden.
Okay. Very good.
Which
All right.
I can't argue with the Matthew Golden logic. And
No, you can't.
For the draft, I would have picked O'Marion Hampton, and I still think O'Marion Hampton is going to be great.
I don't disagree that, though. I don't.
But
What-
just looking at where the defensive tackles fell, that was the last really, really good one. And he might end up being maybe the best of the bunch. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I think the defensive tackle bunch was it was very deep in this draft. So I think there was a world in which you could say, even if you have the need there, you pass on it in the first round, and there will be guys in the second and third round that would normally be a pick, maybe even a full round earlier than they'd go this year. So I think there's that. But then I think there was kind of like a top 4 or 5.
Yeah, there was a tier there for sure.
There was a tier there, and you do get more certainty by sticking within that first tier, which I think that Harmon was there, especially as a pass rusher. I think he's a nifty pass rusher that actually has some pass rush moves. There are other guys that I think have pass rush potential, but don't really have moves to speak of. I mean, they'd win on strength and speed and athleticism, but they've got some things that they're going to have to work on to be, impact pass rushers, I think, in the NFL. So, and I think, for Ultra GM, I mean, some of what you want to be thinking about as you approach the draft is also just where, you have the benefit of knowing where guys ended up. So, you want to look at things like scheme fit. You want to look at there's some guys that you might have liked pre-draft, but then you see the team he goes to, and it's like, well, I don't know if he's going to be a producer in that scheme or in that place. And other guys maybe you weren't as high on, but you're like, what, that makes sense. Like in that particular scheme, this guy's going to kill. So those are, some of the things you want to be thinking.
Well, I'm going to end with my third round pick, since we'll just kind of do this wraparound style. I'm also going to stick with what the Steelers did here. Wasn't a huge fan of Caleb Johnson in the draft process, but the third round, I really like Damian Martinez, but I think based on where he went and versus this, and also factoring in that I need somebody to score points in this fucking game, and Caleb is going to get the chance to score points. I think Damian Martinez being stuck behind KW3 in Seattle, he might not get the same opportunity. So I'm going to stick with Caleb here.
So one thing to consider there in the Ultra GM model is, there's that sort of traditional regular fantasy mode where you think about guys like, okay, this guy's he's gonna get a lot of touchdowns, he'll get a lot of touches inside the 3-yard line, and those goal line touches will be killers. And in Ultra Jam, players will still get points, of course, for scoring touchdowns down there, but it's less of a significant part of the overall production. You want to think about these guys, as much as anything. Yes, touchdowns matter, but things like yards per carry matter too. So our formula, takes into account touchdowns and fumbles and things like that, and it takes into account rushing yards per game, but it also takes into account, unlike most fantasy platforms, yards per carry. So
Nice.
that efficiency component that is usually missing is here, and so so there will be some guys that may not necessarily be traditional fantasy stars, but that will do very well in this model anyhow.
Did anybody not take Caleb Johnson?
I took him. We're gonna skip right to the.
Yeah, we can skip right to.
All right, we'll go to the fourth then.
Right?
Yeah,
Trent,
for him,
I knew
I
you were
think
really
it's-
high on him, so I figured you took him too.
Oh yeah, I absolutely took him.
As a Steelers outsider, I mean, I view him as a guy. I see him as kind of a little bit boom or bust. I think if the holes are there, he will run through them and he'll be very good. But I don't think he's kind of a hole creator guy. I think the blocking is going to need to be there for him to be successful. And if he gets a decent number of free passes to the second level, I think he'll be dangerous. But I think if he's seeing a lot of congestion at the line, I don't think he's the best guy in this draft to find his way through it. But that's my take.
Okay. Fourth round. Is it back to me?
Yeah, you are back up on the 4th round.
I took Joshua Farmer. He's my dear lineman. Oh, did you take him too, Trent?
I did too.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That was my
All right,
justification for passing up on Derek Hartman.
Yep.
He's the type of player who can do exactly everything that you would need from that position.
Yep. Bob, did you break the 3-way tie, or did you go with Joshua Farmer too? Oh, you took Harmon, so you wouldn't take Farmer.
Yeah, I'm not taking him. I'm taking one of my draft crushes, and he ended up going a little bit later than this. But give me Torrey Horton all day long right here.
Okay. All right. Back up to the 5th. It's back to you, Bob.
Hang on, I'm typing in all your Joshua Farmer picks.
Dave, give him a second. God.
Just trying to keep the podcast rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the 5th round, right?
While you're doing that, how big a difference is there between Joshua Farmer and Harmon?
Actually,
Is it?
pretty big.
Is it?
I think Farmer's a little more undersized, isn't he?
Yes.
But he's
A
little
quick. He's very quick for 300-something pounds, but he's not as big as Harmon.
I'm okay with that.
His Florida State tape was pretty dang good against top tier competition.
Yeah,
so
I mean-
I don't know if it's as drastically different as first round to third round.
Yeah, that's my point. I know obviously Harmon's better. We can all agree to that. But
Yeah, I mean, I
fourth
think
round
that
even.
was the thing, as I was saying before about this D tackle group. I mean, there were guys that were going to be third or fourth round guys that I think you could look at compared to some of the first round guys and say, well, yeah, the first guy probably has a higher assurance level that they'll be good, but it wouldn't surprise me to see in this case, Farmer turn out better than Harmon. That wouldn't be like a shocking result for me because I felt like with Farmer that his, you had like great flashes from him, and against good competition, but I think it wasn't probably as consistent or as sustained as it was with Harmon, for example. But I also think that's not, and not that he's the same kind of player, but I think that was kind of part of the deal with Chris Jones coming out, who, ended up falling in the draft in part because, he didn't put up gaudy college numbers and he wasn't super consistent, but obviously the tools were all there and he's been, the best or second best defensive tackle in the league throughout his entire career. I mean,
Great.
Yeah, Chris Jones has been excellent.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I get the whole fascination with Black, and we seem to love Iowa players. But I will double up on defensive tackle here. And actually, no. Well, no, I am going to double up on defensive tackle. I'm going to take another one of my draft crutches, J.J. Pegas from Ole Miss, because I think the combination of Harmon and Pegas is a little more interesting than the Black not being the nose and them not even considering playing him on the nose. Then why the hell did you pick him? I mean, you needed a true nose. So I think Pegas can be a true nose. So I'm taking Pegas.
Dave?
Yeah, for fifth round, I was fine with him taking Yaya Black, if I got that right.
I've heard it pronounced Y-A.
Yeah, I've heard YA too. Yeah.
So I'm fine with that pick because of the fact that with the route I went, I had no problem going back to back here to make sure you get your guy. That's the way I look at that. So knowing they wanted to, I told you I figured they wanted to before they even did it, and they did. So yeah, I'm fine with Black in the fifth round.
Yeah. I actually went with Black as well. And, since we're doing this Ultra GM style, I'm firing Mike Tomlin so we get a coach that puts these guys in their actual positions. So this guy can be the nose tackle for the love of God. The most unathletic D tackle in the class is going to be a four-eye technique. Okay. Let's keep him on the nose.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So when they took Black, Pegas was on the board.
He was.
Yeah.
So Pegas was one of my. I really liked him. I felt like even though he is a big guy, there was just sort of an ease of movement to him that isn't common. And as a Dolphins guy, he reminded me in that sense of Christian Wilkins. Just like a guy who had, and I think you saw that kind of ease of movement from him, in the way they used him even on offense, which, I don't expect him to be a major offensive contributor in the NFL. That may not happen at all, but the same sort of skill set that it allowed him to do that, I think made him a really interesting prospect.
All right, for my fifth round pick, I went Za Frazier. I'm going boom or bust in this part of the draft. I want a guy that runs a 4.3 640 and plays corner. Imagine drafting corners. Imagine. You put him in there, let him go opposite JPJ. You don't have a 41-year-old second corner. It'd be fantastic.
You're going to put a fast guy out there who has no actual good cover skills, but he can run very fucking fast.
You don't know that. We don't know that.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out, Bob.
How do you
That was the knock on it. That was the knock
that.
on him coming out. Is like, hey,
no, the knock on him was a small school.
Was that a Bob scouting report?
That's everybody's scouting report. He doesn't. He's not fluid in there's some real doubt whether he can play press.
My hips ain't that fluid either. This
is a fifth round pick. I'm going to bet on traits.
Hips don't lie.
Yeah, the hips don't lie.
Give me a guy who can run 4.3 in the fifth round, and I'll teach him how to cover.
So I think there are a few guys that are of that similar mold that have been in recent years that have turned out pretty successfully, like Rick Woolen and Zion McCollum.
Yep.
Are two guys that were sort of like supreme athletes, smaller school, didn't, tested like crazy, but there were some of those questions, and those guys have turned out good. So I think that there's a pretty good fighting chance for Frazier.
All right, is it back to me? Are we going snake? Yeah.
Is this the sixth round?
This is the sixth round.
There's only
one.
Going. No, there better be only one. Don't you dare.
No.
Don't you dare.
I'm going traits again. I'm going offensive weapons. I'm taking Brashad Smith, that running back / wide receiver out of SMU.
Oh, I'm going offensive weapon too. Don't you worry about
another
that.
4.3 guy. He was a running back. He played wide receiver his previous years. Give me a weapon. Give me a weapon for this. Imagine weapons, speed and weapons. The Dave Ribeiro Steelers.
Is it my turn?
Yes, go ahead, Dave.
Well, I'm going with the weapon of the 6th round, and that is A+ draft pick Will Howard.
Oh,
Absolutely, they made the right decision in the 6th. A steal, if you will, going with Will Howard. Absolute steal.
Third string quarterback in NFL history.
Gruden said it. The next Josh Allen. I'm sorry, I didn't say it. A professional said it, not me. This is not my scouting reports. This is what Gruden said. I'm just going off of what he said.
David, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
The film don't lie. The film don't lie. I'm just saying.
Trent, bring us back to reality, please.
Hall of Fame Howard all the way.
Oh, God damn it.
This is going to be the second 6th round quarterback to go to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
My God.
We are bringing in a national champion to throw some footballs around,
yes,
okay?
Sir. Exactly. Clearly. That can run like a deer.
Oh, my God. He runs like a deer now, too. Bob, you going the illustrious Will Howard, too, or are you changing?
Nope. I'm going. This is the position I'm doubling up on. Give me Jimmy Horn. Guy who had the fastest Amazon, the AWS next gen level stats.
Oh, okay.
Combine.
I was like Amazon. What?
Yeah. Well, that's who does it. AWS is.
Okay. First, I was like, what?
That's where Jimmy Horn's going to be working after training camp.
A lot of good things coming out of guys. The fact that he's in Carolina, he's gonna get on the field. Yeah, I like Jimmy Horn.
That's the fucking line of the century, man. That's the fucking line of the century.
It threw me off so bad. He said Amazon. I was like, I'm sorry, he worked at Amazon, or what's going on? Like, what's?
Yeah, here's a good question. Who do you trust, Gruden or Tomlin?
Gruden all day long. Gruden is one of the best offensive minds of the last 50 years.
They both like Will Howard, so it's a little scary. Who's up for round 7?
Still me.
Okay, guys.
Now I am gonna get my quarterback, Quinn Ewers.
Okay.
That's fair.
I can't argue with that. David?
I think you guys.
Trent's
I'm sorry, I skipped. Go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, you skipped him. What the hell? Come on, Trent. Go ahead.
This is going to sound like this is going to be a very confusing pick because we ended up with him anyway. I'm taking Sebastian Castro here. He was available. I think he's a versatile piece that they should like. I like him a lot.
All right, Dave.
I'm sorry. One more time. Who is that?
Sebastian Castro.
I was having to admire the fact that Shower has to agree with me.
Nice. Look, I think you guys saw me like banging the table for this guy towards the end of the draft. I really liked Kobe Bryant. Ball hawk corner, which is something we could really use. Had 13 interceptions in his college career. I mean, that's pretty good. Not drafted at all, which was kind of crazy to me. He even tweeted something like 26 corners really went ahead of me. Very surprising. I really wish they'd have gave him a shot in the 7th round. But yeah, that's my guy, Kobe Bryant.
I stuck with Dante Kent. I think he's going to be this team starting slot corner this year. That's my bold prediction. And it's not really bold. He's only got to beat out Beanie Bishop.
My only thing is I think
Brandon
these guys
Echols.
you could have got them as UDFAs.
That's what I thought. Dante Kent should have been at the UDFA.
Yeah, like that's my thing. Like,
there's a little bit
maybe I'm
upside
wrong.
there, though.
Maybe
I know
He's
he's a
a
little bust.
He's a return guy, though.
Yeah. Speed. I like speed.
All right, so who's your Mr. Irrelevant, Dave?
I went with Dan Jackson, the safety out of Georgia. I just keep hearing that he's like a dirt dog, special teams master. I mean, what more do you want? The guy's born to be a Steeler. Dan Jackson.
My
Okay,
turn?
David. Yep.
All right, guys. Just picture a world where
Oh, boy.
you have Aaron Rodgers throwing to DK Metcalf, Matthew Golden, and the Texas bad boy himself, Isaiah Bond. Let's freaking go.
Talk
He's
about
the
a
number
guy
one
you
wide
could
receiver
get
in the
as a
penal league this
UDFA.
year.
I'm going Isaiah Bond. They should have taken this kid. I don't know why they didn't, but that's okay because in David M. Korb III's world, we're taking this kid in the 7th round.
It's because he's going to be busy for the next 3 to 10 years.
He's going to be the leading receiver at the Texas Penitentiary League.
Don't you worry. Don't worry.
We could just get the same guy. It's Henry Ruggs III. He just got released recently.
But
You know, I know we're joking about that, but honestly, I would bring that guy in for a tryout. Look what Plax did when he got out of jail.
Wait,
Is
you're
he out?
against
I thought
Isaiah
he's
Bond,
signed.
but you're being
He's out.
Ruggs?
He's out.
He's
Henry
out.
Ruggs
He's out.
He's
I
out.
would definitely. I would sign him tomorrow.
Did you?
He
Did
wants
none of
to-
you see
he
my
wants to go
tweet?
wide receiver too.
That's what I said. I tweeted that out like 3 days ago.
Absolutely. I didn't know he was out. Shit, I missed that.
No, he's not either.
All right, so let me get this straight. You shit on my pick, but we would go with Ruggs. Like that's
What's that?
that's what we're at here.
Ruggs did his time.
Listen,
Dad, you know.
We don't have
One
to
of
wait
them
till
is
the 5.
out of the orange jumpsuit. The other's going into the orange jumpsuit. He literally is putting on the same one Ruggs left behind.
Yeah, right, they just-
I
they're
think
just
Bond
changing it.
survived that whole thing. I think he's good. I think,
I mean, maybe.
but I also don't disagree. Ruggs would be wide receiver too. Bro.
Wide receiver too. Right now.
Day one.
Kidding me?
Well, don't
Why
you
is he
worry,
on the team?
folks. On Ultra GM, he can be your guy. Let's do it.
He might not score any fucking points, but he could be your guy.
He'll end up
Dave,
on an
go get
NFL
him.
roster.
Dave, go get him.
You know I'm going to. You know I'm going to. He's going to be a minimum contract. You know he's going to be on my
I
team.
hope you do it while actively tanking on Ultra GM. I really hope you do.
I think actually Ruggs is going to be an interesting situation to see what teams do about him because, I mean, if he's out, he's still relatively young. I'm sure he's still fast as shit.
Only 24 years old.
And you know, at some point, like he's served his time. I mean, it was a pretty horrific situation, but you know, at the price that he's presumably going to go at, yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. I'm not sure I can think of a precedent quite like that where you had like a former first round pick, but a former first round pick who's available to everybody, who is still 24, 25 years old or whatever it is that he is. I mean, Vic, I think, I mean, he served, I think, a very short period of time, and I think he was still, wasn't he still?
He did like what, 18 months, 19 months?
Oh, didn't he come to the Steelers after that? Oh, was there a team?
No, Philly.
It was Philly.
He missed 2 seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, he was someone that I think people knew like he was going to cost something. He was going to be fairly expensive to get. I think Ruggs is going to be
That's minimum contract.
Yeah. Although if 20-something teams are all pursuing him, maybe it won't be that cheap. It'll be interesting.
I saw an interview with Josh Jacobs, who's his teammate at Alabama, and he vouched for him 100%. He says a really good kid that just made a mistake, drinking and driving, and it went badly. But overall, Josh Jacobs just raved about him for like 5 minutes. So, if I'm the Steelers,
So just to bring it back to the Ultra GM Connie. So the way that will work is that it will be once he actually signs with an NFL team is when he will become available in Ultra GM. So a player has to be under contract with a team. There has to be player and active contract for them to be available. But once that happens, he'll become an Ultra GM free agent and would be open for bidding in Ultra GM the same way as any other free agent. So he's not available, he's not available now, but if and when someone signs him, he's out there for teams to grab.
So Dave, no AB for you, buddy.
no, unfortunately, AB's out of the country.
Or Martavis Bryant. Or
no, they won't be. But Henry Ruggs, bitch, a sweet ass is going to be on my roster.
They should do it. I'm 1,000,000% in favor of it. Give him a second chance. We did it. It worked with Vic.
Yeah.
Somebody can fact check this, but I'm pretty sure he was the 3rd highest rated wide receiver from Alabama ever.
Cool.
Yeah.
The real question is he still lightning fast? Because Plax's game, even though like he was gone for a couple of years, he was never a burner. He was just big combat catch. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't slow either. He's a great deep route runner. But Ruggs' game was really speed, so you kind of have to see that.
he didn't
Yeah.
have suffer any injuries. I mean, so he should still have. I don't see why he wouldn't. He's 24. He didn't,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's not in anything like football shape at this point,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'd be interested enough to basically, sign him to a multi-year and give him a redshirt year to get his speed back. I mean, assuming he hasn't done anything football related or even running in a few years, I'd say like, okay, I'll do a 2-year deal for you and spend this year like getting up to speed as kind of an investment in next year. So
he could walk off the prison bus and be faster than Robert Woods. I mean, come on.
Right. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to think he's like permanently lost his speed with no injury at age 24 or 25. He'll get it back if he gets back out to the field.
He's had time to do nothing but work out.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you imagine if they signed him before TJ?
Say it again, Bob.
Jesus.
You kind of cut out
If
there.
they signed him before TJ, can you imagine?
Before TJ.
I mean, yeah, but he's only going to get a league minimum, and maybe a little bit more.
Like $700K.
TJ's looking for $40 million.
Yeah.
It's a whole different area.
I think you're going to have to probably pay Ruggs because I think there will be a betting war. I think Evan.
I'd still
pay
pay him.
I actually do too.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I don't think he'll be. We're not crazy wide receiver,
No.
but I think you're going to have to give up 5, 6, 7 a year.
That-
Do it.
That's exactly where I was at with you. I agree,
Do
Bob.
it.
Oh, you guys think 5 to 7 mil?
I do.
per?
I mean,
do. There's
Evan's
too many
got-
enough teams
Evan made a
interested.
good point. Yeah, if there's enough teams interested, I could drive up the price. I'm fine with that. What's Robert Woods making?
It really takes 2 teams to have a bidding war against each other to drive
That's a
that
good
number
point.
up there.
Yeah.
Whatever Robert Woods is making, double it.
I'd throw him 2 and 15 right now just to see if I could get him. It's worth the
Which, I
risk.
mean, I'm
It
not
is.
saying that that's crazy, but when you think about it, the kind of like the dude just went to prison for killing someone, and he immediately gets out. It's like, okay, $50 million.
Yeah, I know. That's
I mean,
what
this
I
is the
was
NFL.
like.
Sort
This
of
is the
around
NFL.
the world, but
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not wrong. It's just that it's like, wow, like
it's
that's
a different kind of thought process. That wasn't
Oh.
my thought process.
Oh,
I mean, the Steelers signed a corner last year that threw his wife through a window, didn't he? Or something? Wasn't that the charges? He tossed his wife out the window?
Ray Lewis
Yeah.
made a lot of money after he killed someone, allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
allegedly, right?
What's the guy from the Rams, though? The guy who killed someone drunk driving. He didn't serve any time. Was it Leonard Little? He was in the league for 15
way
years.
back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it depends on your talent level, man. People will overlook some stuff.
Yeah.
There,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
All right, did we wrap this up? We still got picks to go?
We
Yep.
still got Trent and me to go.
All right.
All right.
Trent, go.
I'm gonna make this short and sweet. I think we needed another tight end to add to the room, so I took Luke Lachey out of Iowa. I can't go wrong with
I
an
thought
Iowa
about
tight
him.
end.
Good pick. I thought about him.
All right.
I
Sneaky
thought
good
about
player.
Fedone. Yeah, I thought about Fedone, but I looked ahead at yours, and he would have been gone, so I went quarterback there because you need a good third string quarterback. I actually went Carson Burner here, and I'll tell you why. Because the more I watch of his film, the more I like him. He's good against the run. I think he takes the Mark Robinson role. I think he also could potentially get that idiot we signed cut. So our top 4 are Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Carson Bruner, and Cole Holcomb. I think that's a better than I forget what the guy's name.
Malik Harrison?
Malik Harrison.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy. I don't think he's very good. I think it was a stupid move. You might as well have just kept
You got
Mark
choked up there.
Robinson on the roster. Yeah. Or Landon Roberts. Keep one of those 2 guys. If we paid that guy way too much to be a very specialty player. I think Bruner gives you just as good as value.
That's a good point. Why did we pay him so much money? Like, I didn't understand that either.
The only team in the league that pays inside linebackers anymore. We're the only team.
Yeah.
Actively seeking out Ravens inside linebackers. So that. Just read Ruggs is eligible for parole in 2026 season
Okay.
event. I didn't think so. So he's not out yet.
But basically, a year away. I mean, I guess
I
it
still
looks like
sign him.
he'd be
August
he'd-
Just
2026.
sign him
Yeah.
anyway.
Event special
Yeah.
release. All right, that
Maybe
makes
they
more
gotta
sense.
work
Got me
with
all riled up about Henry Ruggs, man. You guys got me all riled up. Sign him up.
All right.
All right.
Is that
Well, he did. He
Yep.
was granted temporary release. So
Temporary. He's got to go back though.
yeah.
I bet you get a good lawyer can get him work release. I heard Art Rooney's a lawyer.
All right, guys, we're kind of running along. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Here, let's take a look at what everybody did here.
Oh, you got him. You got him.
Blow it up.
My draft's the best. We don't even have to do this.
Hold on, let's do an even bigger one.
There you go.
There we go.
Look at the talent.
Yeah,
Look at the talent.
I think the fall off for, Jalen Noel way too early of a draft pick there. There were better guys there available to me, but I just don't feel like Derek Harmon. He was the last top 3 or 4 defensive tackle. I like Farmer, but I don't think the Steelers need another undersized defensive lineman.
Man, look at that Isaiah Bond, right there. That's.
And I'm telling you right now, Torrey Horton is going to be a star in Seattle.
Oh, brother! Somebody mark this down.
Hey,
when
real
he gets
quick.
cut in week 3.
Real quick, for the record, Dave and Bob did not take Jackson Dart or Shador Sanders.
I was shocked.
Whole draft.
That's right.
Well, Jackson Dart went before the Steelers picked, right?
Only because you traded out of it.
Oh, you went. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
You had him.
Wasn't available
Nice
to
try.
He fell
Nice
right
try,
in your
Dave.
lap.
I
Yeah,
traded out.
Dave tried to get out of that one. Good job.
I told you guys. I don't
And
think
Bob,
he was
you
right
had
for the
like
Steelers.
5 rounds to take Shador Sanders. What the hell happened?
We got Aaron Rodgers. That's what happened.
Well,
Why
no.
would I take Shador if I got
All right.
Aaron Rodgers?
Okay.
Well, but you don't have Aaron Rodgers on your Ultra GM team because that happened after
Oh,
the
got
start of
him.
the agency. So you'll have to, if you want Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to go out and get him as a free agent.
No
So-
problem. I got no problem spending $10 to $13 million to get Aaron Rodgers. I'm good with that.
Fair enough.
And
Bob's
if I
going on a
don't-
darkness retreat.
The
and I
ayahuasca-
guarantee you it won't take me 6 months to sign it.
All right. I think we're good.
I was going to use his black magic on him. You're signing. All right, guys. Thanks, Evan. Don't forget
you.
Ultra GM, who's our sponsor. This is going to be a blast. We only have a few spots left on our private team, so if you guys, I know a lot of you guys in this chat criticize me all the time. Let's go. Put your money where your mouth is. Join the league. Let me embarrass you in front of everybody. It'll be fun.
Right.
Thanks for everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Programming note. We're not going to be on this Thursday. We're going to go Friday at 7:30 p.m. So we all got stuff to do on Thursday. So Friday, 7:30, if you're looking for us. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Steel Sanctuary Podcast.
Talk to you soon.
That's all the shit I'm gonna get, motherfucker.
Excuse me. Thank you.
What am I supposed to do?
You are embarrassing yourself here, lads.
Saw that coming.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. Okay, I'll play. You got me.